Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu to some of you and peace out to the rest of you. You already know who it is and who it ain't. It ain't your boy, and it is your man, the blackest hearted, blackest minded, blackest man on social media. Signing, blacking, and shining again, asking you to hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. First thing, shout out to the architect of the Black Patriarchy channel. He sent 2 screenshots, but they were of the same comment. You all know about Mr. Samuel's live stream in which the therapist set him off and then subsequently the 24-year-old set him off. Well, somebody named Unbreakable Grind must have done a review of that one because the screenshot was of Unbreakable Grind and Mr. Samuels talking to the 24-year-old in the corner. At the bottom of the screenshot is a comment from a lady named K. Mida. This is what she said. My husband sent me this video. Had to subscribe after this. My parents have been married 32 years and his parents married 43 years. My 6 sisters are married as well. Maybe it's a cultural issue. My husband is African, Ivorian. My mother is white and Korean, and my father is black. In my culture, we use college as a hunting ground for a husband. We have to pursue and beat out the competition for a man. It's blood sport. This young lady is lost and it's sad. I've been married 3 years now and I'm in the gym 6 times a week. I refuse to be a fat wife and allow another woman to snatch my husband. I love my husband enough to maintain myself. You are a reflection of your husband. I'm 26 years old now and wow, these women. They don't realize non-black women are targeting black men for a reason. My Asian side of the family are marrying black men specifically. Statistics show black men make better fathers compared to their counterparts, less likely to abuse their wife, and are sexually loyal. These statistics are causing women to target black men in the middle and upper class. It's sad some black women don't see their men as a gold mine. Most black men are racially loyal, but, as my mother would say, hold your position. You're replaceable as a wife. He can find another one tomorrow. This is K. Mida's comment underneath Unbreakable Grind's apparent review of Mr. Samuel's video live stream in which the therapist and then later the 24-year-old set him off. We know about the Kevin Samuels live stream. We sat up and we watched and saw how they sat there and confessed. They didn't hide anything. They confessed, especially the 24-year-old, pretty much telling us that she can't see a reason. Black women in general can't possibly see a reason to act like they are our women and yet and still build businesses with us. That's how she said it. That's how she saw it. She won't change it. Now, since we know that that's what it is, because, well, I mean, she said it and she didn't hide it. I want you guys to stop and think about what K. Mida's comment means. That's the solution. She just sat there and said, you're going to have to step out. She just sat there and said, you can't be that kind of pro-black to where the Western black woman gets first dibs on you. She sat up and said it. And she's not even limiting this gold mine definition to black Western men. She said black men. Her husband's Ivorian. She never specified specifically Western black men or ADOS or British or Canadian. She did not specify the ones who come from countries with first world economies. She didn't specify that. She didn't specify any particular nationality. She said black men. Now, she understands if you come with a sense of loyalty, duty, femininity, this kind of thing, the love follows, as Mr. Samuel said in the subsequent video. And this really is not about him. He's been one of those that has brought this point to light to the mainstream, utilizing the ones who want to deny this to make the point. That's brilliant to a certain extent. As far as I'm concerned, he won't be completely right until he sees that, frankly, normal value men are the ones who deserve these so-called high value women, that normal value men deserve, with less resources, deserve what he thinks high value men deserve now. And that MGTOW makes perfect sense because it's a forced reaction. Pretty much that there's nothing to blame men for except making these things too easy. That's when I would say he's completely right, and I get behind him. 100%. Right now, I'm behind him conditionally for reasons I've told you before. But K. Mida has given up the game. She sat up and said black men are being targeted for a reason by non-black women. Now, I know that not every non-black woman wants a black man. I'm well aware of this. I don't forget what Jeannie Mai said years ago. Now, granted, she was married to a white guy and she probably wanted to keep him at the time, so I realized she had to say that. And Jeannie Mai, to her credit, came back and actually said the one thing that can undo something like what she said previously, which is, I want to submit to Jeezy. She didn't say that to that mayonnaise man. She said that regarding Jeezy, a black man. She has actually slapped white supremacy to a certain extent, slapped it in the mouth. Not submitting to her mayonnaise husband and then submitting to Jeezy. And not only that, but making it public, going up on an interview with her mom and sorting certain things out. And I think that she actually got influenced, or not influenced, I think she got inspired to do that unintentionally by her cohort. I think her name's Lonnie, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot what her cohort's name is, but the cohort is the sister with a bit of the attitude, but she's got a mayonnaise husband that makes a lot less than her. Yeah, that one. I think she looked at her and said, oh, she must, yeah, I guess she doesn't know. Maybe I shouldn't tell her. But what I should do is maybe I should tell my mom what the rest of us can see in the stereotypical big black woman. Maybe I'll talk to my mom about it because I can see the same things in my mother. And I don't want this to become my mom's future. It's already too late anyway. So now you have it. There you have it. Right there, staring you back in the face. It's the sister driving the black man away into the arms of the women that they're now trying to shame black men for ever finding attractive. The slenderer, more feminine acting non-black women or non-Western black women. And I ain't gonna front, even the non-Western black women are beginning to fall in line with the masculinization program. They're beginning to do this. It's almost like they think they have to. I don't know. But they're beginning to fall in line with it. We already know feminism is a big problem in South Africa, Belize, Jamaica, the Bahamas, areas where it wasn't such a thing before. Selector Job, Mr. Thompson, has told us about how it is that even in Trinidad and Tobago, these women are taking on the worst of the Western black woman from the States through television. So the black options that we have left that I would have championed, I ain't gonna front, they're disappearing. We got to be careful about that. a Muslim brother living in Chicago. He's one of my subscribers. He's talked with me before. Muslim brother, I won't say his name, went to Ethiopia to get married. And it turns out that the woman that was talking and discussing with him marriage and later on married him was a feminist, hiding it the whole time, these are two Muslims, one, her being from Africa. He went and he just happened to get the feminist. And so I even say to brothers that are going to go to the continent, man, it's okay, but you're going to have to, somebody's going to have to vouch for her. That's fine, but someone must vouch for her because feminism is there in the continent too. And we got to be careful about it, even amongst the Muslims. And you being from a country that has feminist laws, it really works in their favor to marry you, get the visa, go over there, and then turn around and rake you over the court system to take away everything they can take from you. As much alimony as possible if they can qualify for it under the state. They probably won't, but as much in child support and as much custody as possible. That's the real deal. They'll pull an Amber Heard if they can. But she sat up and she said, K-Meter sat up and said, gentlemen, she told black women to a certain extent, or whoever's looking and listening, you are the prize. If you're middle or upper class, you're the prize. Sometimes if you're not, or they don't know that you are, you're still the prize. All you got to do is be as good to them as they'll be to you. And you're the prize. Because see, if you find a woman that's going to treat you well, though you have to be in charge, if you find a woman that's going to treat you well, you will be the benevolent authority. And you will treat her well and kind. While being in charge, you would still do it. This is understood. Whereas if you're going to, if she's going to go and find another man, it's more of a gamble. He may or may not treat her well. You are the one that knows how to appreciate when a woman treats you well and submits. You are the one that, generally speaking, is sexually loyal. Good dads. They see these qualities in you, and she's talking about black men. Didn't specify American or any other nationality. She sat up and said to you and to the sisters, this man is gold most of the time, for the most part, and you're driving him, chasing him away into our arms. See, the thing is, if she knows this and her cousins know this on the Asian side of the family, they know this, then let me tell you what this means. Other women know this, and they're intentionally not telling the Western black woman what she's doing so that she will continue to do it, thereby driving these men into their waiting arms and beds. That's what they're thinking. Don't tell her. Don't say nothing to them about how nasty their attitudes are and what all they demand and what they refuse to do in exchange for it. Don't say anything to them about this. Let them keep doing it. And then they'll bring that good heart, that good attitude, and that good ding-a-ling we've been hearing about. That's what's going on. And before you know it, they're getting filled up and making a black man roar, starting a family under terms and conditions that they want, because they understand this man he's not likely to abuse. Knowing doggone well that if he loses the job and they support him, and I don't mean even financially per se, but they psychologically support him, and he gets something else, knowing doggone well that the sister would have rolled her neck, rolled her eyes, and told him he better find something real quick. She doesn't do bad with a man. And see, one thing that the sisters have been saying is, I can do bad by myself. They said this decades ago. And other women, I think they heard this. Other women said, we're going to reach an age in which ain't no men going to want us. We might be doing bad by ourselves, or we may be doing bad with a man. But I mean, which one is better and which one is worse? Doing bad by yourself is actually worse than doing bad with an otherwise good man. Dummy. And the sisters poked them lips out and said, well, if he was a real man, you wouldn't be doing bad. The myth of white womanhood, which now we could say is their myth of non-black womanhood across the board. And I'm going to say this last thing and then I'm done. The reason why this is going to be a problem, and the reason why it's really hopeless for us to so-called keep it black, well, that reason is just one reason. Here it goes. All it comes down to is, see, right now, this generation of black men do find black women attractive. BGS at his age, down to me at my age, and going further down to Edward Allen Anderson at his age in his 30s, don't look at black women and find them unattractive and associate them with ugliness because they're black. They got to make weird fashion statements and get big and look unfeminine and act unfeminine before we find them ugly. But in their natural state, we do not find melanin, wide noses, full lips, 4C hair to be inherently masculine traits and say, ugh. We don't do that. But right now you have a generation of black women and black men who were raised by non-black mothers. They weren't raised by no black women in their lives. Their black relatives are paternal. The black women in their lives are paternal relatives. Their dad's sisters, mothers, cousins. And without complete exposure to them, they will fall victim to the socialization of the non-black side that pretty much makes wide noses, full lips, 4C hair, and melanin into masculine traits. And they will be imprinted to believe that, no, the black woman is actually a man. Now, you got parts of the world where this is not, a lot of times, this is not really what everybody walks around saying, but it doesn't take much to get them to say it. In Malaysia, well, I told you all, they don't have a problem with black people. They got a problem with Nigerians in Malaysia. I heard a Malaysian man say to me, the Nigerian woman is not a woman. She is just like her man. I heard him say this. He didn't say this about the Somali, the Sudanese, or the South African, or the Senegalese, the Gambians. He didn't say this about any of them. He said this about only the Nigerian. But they have the biggest black population. So what happens when they become the face of the black community over there? But the Nigerian women have acted very much like the Western black women, acted like men. Now what? Eventually, you're going to start having people looking at the phenotype as being only for men. So the colorism about which the Western black women are so, and the featureism about which the Western black women are so paranoid, are about to become self-fulfilling prophecies. Irreversibly so, irrevocably so. And that's going to be bad for the generation of black women that are not yet women, but rather just innocent little girls born into an ucked up situation, just like the boys have been. They're going to come up and they're going to be seen as inherently unattractive at first glance because they're going to be seen as not even being girls. And it will be because of how the Western black woman acted towards her man, driving her man into the arms of other women. That's what's going to wind up happening. And unfortunately, a lot of these men are going to find women that they may not realize have a bias against black women, but not against black men. And this may be transferred into the children, whether the fathers want it to be or not. That could very well be the case. So there could be a crop, if you will, of half black children who have a bias against completely black women that started based on behaviors and wound up cementing itself to being based on the appearance, fulfilling the false prophecy of before. But what can we do to stop it? Nothing. Because who gonna check her, boo? Anyway, my condolences go to the sisters of any age that had nothing to do with this, especially those who tried to warn others and got talked over and interrupted and shouted down. You shouldn't have had to deal with the consequences of this either, but she made sure you did. Thank you all for listening. Black Heart, Black Mind, Blackout. Assalamu alaikum. Black, heterosexual, non-select male power just because they don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day.